Welcome, Gemini, to your January 2020 reading. Happy New Year's, guys. May you have an extraordinary and amazing year. And I have to say, it's going to be an extraordinary and amazing January. Astrologically, this is honestly one of the most powerful years I think we've seen for a long, long time. January is really big. We're in eclipse season. On the 10th of January, we have a full moon lunar eclipse in Cancer. But just 3 days before, Saturn and Pluto come together. These major players have been dominating the astrological scene for a long time, calling us to restructure, change anything that isn't actually working for us. Systems are being sort of almost broken down, whether those are globally, sort of nationally, locally, or personally. So very, very powerful time. For those of you that are interested in kind of checking in on the astrology, if you haven't yet bought a diary, do please consider the Art of Manifestation Astro Moon Diary. It gives you a rundown of the astrology every month. I was really curious, actually, when I was making that diary. Yeah, for anyone that's new to my channel, guys, I'm Jenny Florence. Actually, let's just, first of all, I'm rushing into the planets and the everythings. Just welcome back, guys, for those of you that are already a part of this community. You are amazing. I have truly been blown away by the way this community is growing. You know, we are a pathway of people who care. We are a pathway. We are a community of people who walk a pathway of care. We are a community of spiritual warriors. Everybody here is striving to live a life where they navigate from a position of awareness, and that really comes through in your comments. So guys, you know, huge respect and thank you to you all, and anyone new to the channel. I'm Jenny Florence. I put up monthly readings, weekly readings, and also offer a free private reading to one of my subscribers every month. I do put a lot of free stuff into the world, so just check out the information box below. But guys, very powerful times. Now, I was drawn in this reading to two angels. We have a snowflake obsidian angel and a green aventurine angel. Now, the green aventurine energy literally removes any sort of energetic blocks that are within our physical body. So very, very good for physical purification, helping us to remove stress, to get that energy flow going within us, opening the chakras. The snowflake obsidian creates a balance. That's the energy of it. It brings balance within mind, body, spirit, and it really helps us to release any unhelpful thinking patterns. So it really enables and supports mindful thinking. You know, there's a difference really between what I would call mindful thinking and overthinking, where we're going over and over the same old, or our thinking is following a repeating pattern. It's completely different to mindful thinking, which is sort of more independent and more able to stand back and be reflective. So that's the energy of these two. Pretty powerful given the astrology in January. So here we go, guys. Let's draw runes. One just down there, I can literally feel it coming through. So, we have the rune of separation. This rune says that it's like you've outgrown something, but you've outgrown something to which you have had an emotional attachment, okay? It's like shedding a skin. It's like moving. It's not letting go of something in a loss kind of way, where something radical happens and we feel we've lost something, or it's very unusual for that. The energy of this is much more about, it's about growth. It's like we've outgrown something, a thinking pattern, a way of being. For some people it could be, you know, a job, a relationship, you know, it could be anything, but whatever it is, you've outgrown it. You need more. I think that's the way to put it. You need more, and you are ready to shed that skin, take off that coat, and move up a grade. That's the energy of separation. You've got three that will come out. We have the Rune of Growth. We have the Rune of the Self. Oh, wow. And we have the Rune of Movement. These are lovely. Separation, you've outgrown. You're ready to step up. You need more. Berkana, the Rune of Growth. This rune is symbolised by the birch tree. It's new beginnings, but it's a very powerful new beginning. It's the new beginning of, I want to say something that feels big. Now, it's symbolised by the birch tree. If there is a forest fire or a forest is devastated by something, the birch tree is the first tree to begin to reshoot. It pushes up, and trees nurture one another. A forest is a self-contained environment. Forests feed themselves, they look after themselves. And so this is like the beginning of a forest. It's huge, the energy of this for a New Year reading, for a January reading. This is huge. Now, the Rune of the Self. Apologies, guys, I just knocked the camera, my enthusiasm. So we have the Rune of the Self, and everything starts with the self, because if we think of our human lives as a journey of evolution for our soul, you know, if we think of the human experience as being the perfect vessel for the evolution of the soul, you know, our learning curves, the challenges we face, they shift us each time to like a higher space of consciousness. That's what the Rune of the Self is about. You guys have outgrown something, you need more, and you're being invited to step up. Now, the Rune of Movement is the bettering of any situation. The Rune of Movement is slow and steady progress. It's very powerful. It always connects in with me with it's like the stage of a river that is gathering momentum. You know, if we think of a river as starting with a spring, and then kind of it becomes a little babbling brook, and then it, you know, becomes a small river, and then there's a point at which it gathers what I would call slow, steady, ongoing momentum, and it just gets wider and wider and wider. It often meanders, but there's no way that you can stop it, or indeed if we stop it, you have to build a significant dam. It's got that flavour. So something is progressing in your lives, and you are moving through, and it's all about new beginnings, a new phase in your life. Very, very powerful, guys. One more rune, I think. Yes. We have the Rune of Harvest. Now this rune symbolises, again, it's like steady growth. You can't make something happen any quicker, just as you can't necessarily stop this river very easily in terms of the momentum. You also can't actually you can't make it go any faster either. It needs to flow. So the Rune of Harvest comes with a lovely story of a farmer who wanted to make his crops grow faster, so he tried to pull them up. I mean, I think we kind of get that kind of picture. The Rune of Harvest speaks of a year or a cycle. It doesn't always connect to an entire year. Sometimes it is a cycle that needs to come to its own fruition. But it does speak of a period of a year sometimes. And given that this is a January reading, it feels, for me, pretty exciting to connect in with it in terms of the cycle of a year. So something new, guys, is initiating. You are needing to separate. Sometimes the separation can connect to kind of real estate, to property. And it's interesting because sometimes the Rune of Movement can talk about new dwelling places. We can literally move. But one way or the other, something is coming into being. It's a very profound new beginning for you guys. The energy is with you. Hence, I think these incredible angels here, in mindful thinking, removing any energy blocks, being able to allow the energy to flow through you. Very powerful, very powerful. Let's connect in with some cards and see what we are shown for January. My apologies, I think I just knocked the camera again. Okay, so this is lovely. This is a card of celebration. It's like, I'm going to say, a completion of one phase and moving into another. It could be for some of you that you are, I mean, sometimes this is like a marriage proposal or the celebration of a marriage, the celebration of a child arriving, the celebration of, I'm going to say, a new job, a new home. It's a card of celebration. So it's as though you've reached a stage. Something's coming to, I want to say coming to fruition, but it's a stepping stone. It doesn't feel like an end goal. This is really interesting. We then have the Ten of Cups, ongoing contentment in relationship. Well, we also have the Hierophant, the wounded healer. For those of you that are in an existing relationship, this reading would suggest that that relationship steps up into a position of greater security, greater stability, but it's on a platform of awareness. You know who you both are, you know what you desire. Again, it's as though a phase has been outgrown and you're moving forwards. Something very healing being called for here. Let's draw more. There's a completion. We have the World, a card of completion. It's a completion of a phase. It doesn't feel, whatever that is. Now, I want to say, if you are looking for a relationship, this feels like a very good time to be drawing into you, bringing into you the kind of relationship that is going to give you, it's like working out your longer term goals, working out what you're looking for. I do feel the energy around you is connecting into relationship. There is some kind of a completion. There's something of a healing taking place this month for you guys. Something moves forwards, whether it's your understanding, your connection within relationships, but it's a very heavily relationship laden reading. Sometimes they're not. Sometimes people are like, what about love? You're talking about careers, you're talking about money. And of course, actually, any reader will tell you we can only go with the cards. But yeah, this is very much connecting in with stability. It's like moving into a phase of stability. There is a completion of something. I feel like you guys come home to yourselves in some way. We have the card of the Priestess. It's an interestingly powerful card. It says that your powers of intuition are increasing. We have the Queen of Discs. Now, the Queen of Discs indicates that we have, basically you've been through a phase of, I almost want to say lack, of difficult times, hard times, where things have been sparse. Things haven't been abundant. That would be the right word. And yet this card says that you can be safe in your position. You're now in, it's like the period of lack is over. I'm curious that it sits with the Priestess here. Very, very powerful kind of energy here in terms of something moving forwards. You're shedding an old skin. So I'm hearing a kind of a message connecting to lack. Now, for some of you, the move forwards is letting go of some kind of an inner belief That's what I'm hearing. There's some kind of an inner belief or a perspective that you guys have. It's like a coat you've been wearing, and that is coming to its completion. You're being asked to literally take off that coat, to shed that skin, to step up and grow into a new space of being within yourself. It's to do with some kind of a block that has stopped you from believing that you have an entitlement, whether that is to the kind of relationship you want, or just an overall abundance that brings you a level of contentment. There is a healing taking place, or there is opportunity for healing in this relationship, in this reading. Well, I guess we have a relationship with our readings. Oh wow, guys. Ace of Cups, new beginnings. Again, particularly centered around relationships, but I am going to say for some of you guys, what I've heard really clearly, it's connecting into an attitude or a block that has sort of almost like placed like a glass ceiling on your lives and has stopped you from being able to reach out to receive that which you desire. You're being asked to trust your intuition as well. This card speaks of having a heightened intuition. And that's actually going to assist in this flow into a new space, a new life, a new cycle. So I don't know if you're going to see the abundant results overnight. The shift in January is the letting go of the block, or any blocks, any residue of anything from your past that has stopped you from being able to allow yourselves to receive. There's something about allowing that comes with the Rune of Movement and the Rune of Harvest. We have to sort of allow ourselves to receive. We have to sometimes allow ourselves to let the universe kind of navigate and orchestrate around us. We have to remove, our task is within the self, to remove the blocks so that we can work in unison with the universe. Intuition is really important because intuition enables us to see beyond what I would call the kind of ego mind. I spoke, when I connected in with the energy of these angels, I spoke about the difference between mindfulness thinking and any form of repetitive thinking. Intuition cuts through any kind of repetitive thinking. You know, it's like we listen to our heart, we listen to our soul. I'm actually being called to draw from the first tarot pack that I drew from again. Okay, we have the Five of Cups. Interesting energy here. Just moving these up. I will be drawing quite a few cards, so we need enough room to do this. Okay, that's really curious. So we have Five of Cups, Eight of Swords, and King of Pentacles. We'll just draw one more. And then we'll... Okay, another five. Five of Swords. So interesting energy. You definitely move beyond something here, or you certainly have an opportunity to. Five of Cups is very interesting energy because for me it's a very positive energy. It's a positive energy that sometimes arrives in a situation that doesn't feel so positive. Okay, I will explain what I mean. That seems a bit paradoxical, but the Five of Cups, it's like something is revealed, or we do something, or someone says something to us. Usually we do something. We do something that sometimes it's inadvertent. Sometimes we're reaching out to discover something and we find something out. That's the sort of flavour of it. But what actually happens is that it releases something. It's through our discovery of something. You know, for some of you guys, I'm hearing it's a looking within. It's you discover some aspect of a pattern or something happens that causes you to recognise some kind of a pattern within you. back to some aspect of self-doubt, or, some connection to not believing that you can really have those things that you desire. It's that kind of flavour. But in identifying it, even though it may feel challenging in the moment, in identifying it, you come through and out the other side. It's like you defeat your demons. I mean, this is a card of victory. Now, I'm just connecting into the astrology here as well. So we have Saturn and Pluto coming together on the 7th of January. Very powerful. They are calling us to let go of any internal structures, any internal beliefs that no longer serve us. The energy is with us to change. Eclipse season. Eclipses are like a portal of kind of energy, whereby we can often connect into insights and illuminations that connect both to the past, to the present, and to the future, like a timeline, like a dream space. I always think when we dream, a dream connects us often to past, present, and future. It works like a timeline. Our dreams, our dream world connects into a greater collective unconscious lake of knowledge. And in a way, that's what the eclipse season brings us to. So you could gain some profound degree of illumination, awareness, some light bulb moment, something that enables you to shed that skin. There's this sort of triangle of cards here. What it also does is it frees you up. It steps you into a space where you know that the past is behind you. And this is then this King of Pentacles, card of abundance. I would say, guys, think about what you really desire. You know that saying, and be careful what you wish for? Think about what abundance really means to you. What do you really desire? You are now in a position to take an ownership of that. It's lovely. Ace of Cups, new beginnings. The energy is with you. Now, whether for you guys abundance is about relationships, it's about love, I think this is very relevant to you guys in that particular way. It's quite loaded with relationship cards. However, there are also aspects of, self-love here. There are also aspects of love of life, refinding love of life. You move something forwards. You come out of some aspect of conflict. And the key to the evolution of that, processing the conflict, coming out the other side, completion. Five of Swords is sitting under the world, card of completion. That's what, it's the inner shift that then creates the outer shift, if that makes sense. I'm now going to draw from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. Now, guys, I just want to say, for any of you that are drawn to any of the cards or the runes, there is a page on my website, the A to Z of Emotional Health. It's a free library, but there's a page there now with all of the cards, photograph that I ever use, and the runes. So if any of them are reaching out and calling to you, you should be able to find them really, really easily there. People often ask, what cards do I use? And of course these cards are, this for me is an exciting time, because the month of January is the month when these cards, which are my own, are going live. People have been asking about the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. Every one of these cards carries a message that at some point in my journey I have personally been given, whether that's in a reading or a channeling or a sitting with someone else or in a meditation. Every single one of these are messages that I have at some point been given myself. And I know that sometimes in my world I've needed really direct guidance with clarity, and so I've always made a note of those messages. I kind of keep a record of these things. I journal for myself, and these cards are the accumulation of those. So, as I said, they're quite direct messages. I think this is really interesting, giving and receiving. Give and take is different to giving and receiving. Taking and receiving are not the same. When we take, whoever we take from may or may not have chosen to give. However, when we receive, choice and respect are an integral part of the exchange. Let go of any need to take and embrace the harmony of giving and receiving. Now, this is a shift in relationship. This card shifts us to a space where it's like we can sit in relationship not just with others, with ourselves and with life itself in a way that is mutually open. Very powerful card sitting under the priestess, intuition. Sometimes we try to make things happen through fear or insecurity. There's a time when we need to, especially during times of transition, when we outgrow a phase, when we need to learn to trust and allow. That's what this is connecting in with. You know, rather than trying to pull up our crops, we need to nurture them so that they actually can grow, and we need to be able to sit in a space of trust that everything that we need will be kind of orchestrated and brought to us. Very often, in our desire to create that which we desire, we sometimes create the opposite because we're striving so hard. We're trying so hard, we're trying too hard, and it's almost as though in trying too hard, we kind of block ourselves from receiving. You know, it's very much, it's interesting, I'm just connecting in with my diary, the Art of Manifestation diary. I've kind of spoken about the process of manifestation, and it's like a cycle in itself, and I think if we understand that cycle, sometimes we need to initiate things, sometimes we need to ease off, sometimes we just need to let something, we need to nurture and allow it to kind of move forwards. I think the art of manifestation, it fascinates me, and I've created major shifts in my own life, so as I said, there's a lot of my own learning that I'm wishing to share. Anyway, enough waffling, but there's real relevance to this, guys. Bless your past. Fabulous. A useful tool to help us to let go of any emotional residue that is still clinging to us from a past experience is to bless your past. Whenever the memory of an event or person comes to mind, pause and say to yourself, I bless every aspect of my past, and I celebrate the contribution that it gave me in becoming the person that I am today. Again, just connecting in with a personal share, I realised when I started listening to my inner dialogue, how much of it, I mean, I was really, if I'm honest, I was horrified how much I still connected in with past experiences that hadn't worked out. And this was really brought to me in a meditation as a way of actually helping me to overcome that challenge. And so literally every time I noticed my inner dialogue was travelling into some aspect of the past, I mean, you can't change the past. You can only decide what you're going to do about it now. I would just bless that, literally pause, bless the past. And it just shifted the energy. When I was connecting into the energy of the past, it was actually quite powerfully negative, if I'm honest, if I was going over something that was unhelpful or challenging. And this really, really helped me. So it came to me in a meditation, hence the share and putting this into a card. We're going to draw more than 3, actually. I'm just going to move these over. Lovely. You've done nothing wrong. Really important. Whatever has taken place and was out of your control and out of your hands, this card asks you to let go of any feelings of guilt or personal blame. This was not your fault. You've done nothing wrong. Connecting into the past, one of the things that we sometimes do, if something happened that was out of our control, we go over and over and over it, trying to work out what we ourselves could have done differently to stop it from happening. And I'm hearing a very powerful message, which will be very specific to some of you. You've done nothing wrong. What happened was not within your control. You didn't cause it. You didn't create it. It happened, and you need to let it go. It is the outcome of it, the residue has held you back. It's almost as though it left you with a lack of self-belief in some way, or a belief that you shouldn't have, or that relationships won't work out, or I'm hearing if you have something, somehow it will be taken away from you. That's the flavour of something that was left with you. It was not your fault. Please, please hear that. Let go of guilt. Excuse me. Guilt is an amazing emotion. I know we don't think of it as that, because guilt is something that we often carry it like a ball and chain. Guilt in its positive form is the emotion that can allow us to develop a conscience. In its negative form, it's a tool of manipulation and it holds us back. Every emotion has a positive use and a negative use. You know, often people who've been hurt badly become the most caring people because they don't ever want to hurt anyone else. They so know what that feels like. But actually, that's great. It's wonderful to carry that conscience to others, but we should not be carrying guilt in a way that holds us back individually or stops us from our own sense of entitlement. The energy, guys, this month is so with you to let this go, to release it. Take a leap. This card is an invitation to take a leap of faith. Sometimes, even when we desperately desire change, we procrastinate and find all kinds of reasons as to why we should stay as we are. It is completely understandable to be anxious when stepping into the unknown. This card is calling you to trust and make that move. Really lovely energy, coming through something, shedding that skin, new growth, like the beginning of a forest. This is all about the self, this is about you. Movement, that wonderful energy that can gain momentum, a whole new cycle of growth with harvest promised, but we have to allow, we have to let it emerge, and we do have to remove those obstacles within ourselves. And one last card, which I feel is a card of confirmation. It's okay not to be okay. When we feel low or have challenging emotions, we often then feel bad about the fact that we're feeling bad. This effectively doubles our emotional load. This card asks you to understand your difficult feelings as guidance, highlighting that something needs to change and that you are entitled to seek support in this. Very powerful rubber stamping of the emotional residue that is always left over. You know, whenever an event or something happens, or it's the, you know, if physical scars heal, it's the emotional ones that remain, and there is a healing offered to you this month, guys. Very powerful, and it creates an opportunity for such an amazing new beginning. This is a wonderful reading for January, for the beginning of a new year. Gemini, so much love to you. Sun in Gemini, Moon in Gemini, Gemini rising, anyone who's cross-watching. Guys, you are amazing. Trust your intuition. Override any ego thoughts or anything that is clinging to you from the past. Shed that skin. It's time to take a leap. And yeah, new beginnings. Wow. Stunning reading. So much love to you all, guys.